So what's with the bread? Those interested in history will find a wealth of information about the Battle of New Orleans at many of the Big Easy's cultural institutions. If you visit the Cabildo, there are entire floors of exhibits dedicated to this decisive and final military encounter in the War of 1812 that saw a hastily conscripted militia under the command of Andrew Jackson repel a larger British force that attempted to take the city in control of its strategic Gulf port on the Mississippi River. While some will note that the Battle of New Orleans was waged after the Treaty of Ghent was signed, which officially ended the war, the patriotic fervor stoked in the hearts of New Orleanians cannot be denied with this signature victory. On our journey, only one other thing came close to rivaling this sense of pride. Bread. Yes, bread. Allow me to explain. New Orleans is a French city. It has many other cultural elements, but the French influence permeates everything. The French Quarter is the original city, and it is the foundation on which modern New Orleans is built. And a lovely little footnote about the French is that wherever they traveled, they brought their bread with them. Light, fluffy morsels of deliciousness. Long after the French left places, their bread remained. It was, and remains, a hit with palates across the planet. So what's with the bread? New Orleans has a bounty of dishes. Perhaps the food most closely associated with the city is the po' boy sandwich. These wonderful Sammies come in all types: oyster, clam, shrimp, the list goes on. Despite the differences in the filling, the pièce de résistance is always the bread. On this point, New Orleanians are steadfast. Mess up the bread, and you mess up the po' boy. Nothing will rile a New Orleanian more than substituting, or even suggesting, that another bread will suffice. Wrath will descend upon the poor merchant who dares to hawk a lesser loaf. Which brings us to Germany. Yes, Germany. Allow me to explain. As New Orleans developed into a major port city, it attracted people from all over the globe who were searching for new opportunities. One such person was George Leidenheimer, an immigrant from Diedesham, Germany. Recognizing that Americans were developing a fondness for German beer, George theorized that the dark, dense bread of his homeland would be equally welcomed. He began baking his Deutsche Delights from a small shop on Dryades Street in 1896. Sadly, the populace was unmoved with his wares. Ever the entrepreneur, George pivoted. He learned the art of French bread making and incorporated it into his offerings. Today, the company that still bears the Leidenheimer name produces bread considered the pinnacle of the New Orleans po' boy. So, if you find yourself staring at a menu in New Orleans and wondering how a city noted for its delightful French bread features a German name, now you know the story. Enjoy and accept no substitutes.